And, yeah, all of that as I hit the mic for an Austin Hill victory. Welcome on in, everybody. I am on a weird schedule today. I literally walked into the door as they're waving the green flag. I did a little day trip. But welcome on in to the Atlanta post-race, the Focused Health 200. We will go over everything really quick, just making sure. I don't know if they're posting the points or whatever. But let's look into this thing. How about we do that? Let's look into it, shall we? This race is 163 laps, 2 hours, 7 minutes, 5 seconds, 9 leaders, 12 lead changes, 6. Count them, 6 cautions on the day. When you're looking at the finishing order here, it is Austin Hill who got the victory. And it's kind of funny, especially looking at what you guys were saying in the chat earlier during it. A lot of people being like, all that for an Austin Hill win. But like most of you guys were saying that for most of the day, it was like nothing happening. So really, was it all of that? Just kidding around. But Austin Hill gets the victory. RCR does beat the Mayo Missile. The Mayo Missile, you could argue, probably beat themselves, or maybe, air, depending on which way they end up showing. But I mean, I'm looking at this finish here, and I'd say that Corey Heim and Chandler Smith, they sold it. I mean, they just completely sold the race away. That is big yikes. Because I feel like if those two work together, the 21 doesn't stand a chance against them, personally. But in the melee, Parker Kligerman comes up for a second place finish, about 3/10 back, barely beating AJ Allmendinger to the line. Then it's the 81 of Chandler Smith, Corey Heim in 5th. 6th, Jesse Love. Then Sammy Smith, Josh Williams, Brandon Jones, and Ryan Truex round out the top 10. From there, you got Kyle Weatherman in 11th. 12th is Parker Retzlaff. 13th, Lawless Allen. Good run for them today. Anthony Alfredo in 14th spot. 15th is Brennan Poole. And then Kyle Sieg in 16th. 17th, Honeyman. Maggio in 18th. 19th, Blaine Perkins. And Nick Light in 20th. 21st, Ryan Ellis, David Starr 22nd, and Garrett Smithley 23rd. Those guys on the lead lap. Then a couple more laps down here. 1 lap down for Jeb Burton in 24th. Sheldon Creed 25th, -3. 25th is, at least it's not another second. And then you got Riley Herbst 5 laps down in 26th. 27th, SVG 6 down. Taylor Gray out of this race in the 28th spot. Jeremy Clements 14 laps down on the day. Then 3 more out here. Allgaier, Custer, and Sieg 30th, 31st, 32nd. And Morgan, I believe it's Bayard, or Bard, I don't know. Bird. 21 laps down in the 53 car in 33rd. And from there, CJ McLaughlin, Matt DiBenedetto, Sam Mayer, and Dawson Cram round out the 37 car NASCAR Xfinity Series field today. Let's pop up the post-race results here. I probably spelled somebody's name wrong. Like Sammy Smith, I didn't capitalize his last name. Silly me. I'm a silly goose like that sometimes. But let's pop it up on screen right now. I will also ask you to bear with me if I'm a little off. Like, I have this really pulsating headache right behind my left eye. I don't know what it is. I think it's just off my sleep schedule. So bear with me. And we'll read those super chats at the end. But let's talk a little bit about the finish. And if they pop up the playoff standings, we'll look at those as well. Unless I probably missed them while I was getting stuff turned off. Yeah, I mean, Austin Hill, kind of the race fell into his lap with the caution that we'll talk about a little later. But with that, he held off the 81 and the 26 for a bit. And it wasn't really they held him off. It's more they were waiting to make the move. You could see they were testing what moves in the draft would work, what wouldn't. I think very smart to wait towards the end. The 81 made the move, and the 26 didn't go with him. And I think that right there sold the race away. That right there was what cost anyone beating the 21 in this race. Of course, Austin Hill did borderline move, I think, putting the 26 up close to the wall. I do believe him when I think he didn't mean to wall him necessarily. I think it was just a bad move, late block, whatever. I can't even say bad move because it ended up pretty much any question of him winning the race was not winning the race, I should say, was thrown out the window. I see people say waited too long, but I think the problem is like if you do that move with 5, 7, 8 laps to go, or like more to go, you're looking at somebody else making that move on you. I don't like waiting until the last lap, but I like waiting until 2 or 3 to go to make that move so that the pack still has to have another lap or 2 to generate that run. So personally, I thought that the strategies the top 3 played until the 26 and 81 decided to, both eyes didn't move the same way. Instead, they kind of like went cross-eyed on it. I thought those were all pretty smart moves until the end, and this is a series that you learn them in. But 7th win at these tracks for Austin Hill. Now, I do want to say there are more super speedway races in the Xfinity series. There's less cup guys in there. So like the stat is definitely inflated, I would say. But still, I think it's like 4 of the 6 races that Atlanta has had Xfinity wise. Austin Hill's won. In the chat, I want you to give me a rating out of 10. 10 being the best Xfinity race you've ever seen, 1 being absolute garbage. I personally think that the Xfinity series and Truck series both are just not very good at Atlanta. It's like this cycle. I can't remember who I saw on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, posted it. But it's like this cycle is like Xfinity and Trucks have an iffy day. Everyone calls for Atlanta to be reconfigured to what we had before. Cup has an awesome race better than the last. Everybody then from there wants Texas and every mile and a half to be a super speedway. And it's the same damn cycle every time. Like, I do think the Cup will be better. I remember after the Xfinity race in Atlanta earlier this year, I said Cup would be the best race of the weekend, and half the people in the chat were like, "No, you're just being a NASCAR homer on it, whatever." It's like, it's true though. This track and car were specific. Like, I'd say the track is specifically designed for this car, the Cup car. We got the playoff standings up on the board right now. 2 races to go. Allmendinger plus 144, Sheldon Creed plus 123, Parker Kligerman plus 74. 44 is now the gap. In 12th, Sammy Smith in by 44. Ryan Sieg out by 44. From there, everybody else behind has to win. I think AJ Allmendinger and Sheldon Creed basically have to just start next week and have no new winner to be locked in. But at this point, I think it's just, you got to win. Any of those guys need to win. Ryan Sieg today sealed his fate, and we'll talk about it right now. Let's go into this race. We had Jesse Love win the pole. RCR immediately going 1-2. We thought it might have been one of those dominant days again. But only lap 11. This is where Ryan Sieg's out of it. This is definitely going to be a very unpopular race. Because I was looking and I saw a lot of, I saw a C+ in there. For the letter grade, but I saw a lot of 4s, a lot of 5s, and a lot of 3s, and definitely going more towards the 4s and 3s. People not very happy with this race, and I get it. A lot of people aren't crazy about their favorites not finishing well and their least favorites winning. But Ryan Sieg on lap 11, some electrical issue, was slow, got caught up, basically stopped on the track lap 12. And while it wasn't the end of his race, stage points wise, it killed him because the 39 car is probably the fastest one out there consistently outside the 7 car. And had that been the case, and say he just, finishes this race, but even just finishes 4th in both the stages, instead of a 44-point gap, you're looking at 2 7-point stage tallies. You're looking at a 30-point gap, which isn't much better, but still, it's good enough that you're not necessarily completely killed on points. That the guys ahead of you can still have a bad day and you can catch up. 44 points at this stage of the year, you're almost a full race back without a win. And with 2 races left, 2 races that are not favorable to the 39 team, they need to go for broke balls to the wall, try and get that win. That's it. That's the only way they can go about it. Speaking of a win we can get, let's lick the like button. Let's see how many likes we can get. I feel like one like equals 1 Ryan Sieg win in the crystal ball or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, send 1 good vibe to Ryan Sieg to get a win in the next 2 races. Each like equals 1 of those. How about that? We'll have some fun with it. And if it works, then damn, y'all are good. But for the most part, these first two stages were nothing special whatsoever. I think the Cup race, I think stage 1 of the Cup race will be better than the entire Xfinity race tomorrow. They got it back restarted, RCR up front again, but it was Justin Allgaier who on his own nearly cleared, got shuffled back, and then came right back up, made contact with Jesse Love, and took the lead. Allgaier had the best car. There was no contest today who had the best car out there. Wins stage number 1 over Hill, Herbst, Creed, Love, Mayer, Jones, Custer, Smith, Chandler Smith, that is, and Taylor Gray. And stage 2, I think, was even more dull, personally. A lot of single file, a little bit of shuffling in the pack. But it was a 7-16 up front. AJ had the top line completely OP, just like it's been the last couple, I think every race since they've reconfigured. And the 7 also took 2 tires, so that didn't help either. The only real big thing to talk about, the only kind of, theme of stage 2 was Sheldon Creed continued to make contact with the wall. Still managed to get a 10th in the stage. Stage had to end early, though, because Sam Mayer pretty much self-cleared himself, crashed into the wall, and caught on fire. Self-cleared over the 19, and just an all-around rough, bad, no good, very bad move. I want to look right now at Sam Mayer. I know they don't have all of the stats put in because this race just ended. But Sam Mayer this year, man, I mean, that is the biggest feast or famine guy out there. Running at finish. So that's his 8th DNF of the year. Because going into this race, he finished 17 of the 24, meaning 7 DNFs. That is his 8th DNF of 2024. Listen, Sam Mayer, if he can just keep the damn car on the track, I think could be a championship guy. They show the speed. You see, every time he's not crashing, he's finishing top 10, top 5, getting wins. But 8 DNFs, I don't give a damn what format that is. You can't win like that. You cannot win the championship like that, especially in Xfinity, where I think the margin of error in Xfinity for guys that constantly wreck is just as bad as with Cup for them. But I mean, he's not exactly set the world on fire outside of those wins. We get to the final stage here, getting it restarted. Taylor, was it Taylor Gray? I think it was Taylor. I don't know. I mix them up. I put his name in here. I should know. But Gray ends up with the lead starting this stage here. Chandler Smith did battle him and get to the lead. SVG at the same time. This is where SVG had the issues. He managed to get up into the top 10 at different points, but it wasn't like Taylor Gray. Okay, but it wasn't like he was a factor per se. Of course, at this point, though, with him in the wall, Ryan Sieg did get back on the lead lap. And at this point, you're thinking, man, with him flying like that, with him in the hole that much, he needed to charge. I mean, he really needed to charge. He needed to get a win. Totally needed to get a win. And we'd see the 7 and the 39 flying up on the next restart. Of course, this is where we started to see the little bit of craziness. We got a caution for Jeb Bush. It's a presidential election. Sorry, mine's in a weird place right now. Jeb Burton, just Jeb. We'll call him Jeb. Jeb spins. You get another restart. Chandler Smith to the lead at this point. Creed slow. I know, no politics. That's what I'm like. No politics. My bad. There's a lot of shuffling, I think, with this restart. When Smith did end up getting the lead, Creed was slow. He goes out of the race. The 7 and the 9, though, making some moves. The JRM cars work really well. I'll say this. The JRM cars, when they can draft and when they're not imploding, really damn good when it comes to teamwork. Rest of the Xfinity Series, I don't know what the hell they're doing, man. We saw the finish today with the Toyota teammates. We saw it throughout a lot of the day today. The 21 and the 2 were just like 2 different heads on the same monster going different directions. They didn't work together. It's infuriating as somebody who likes to see good super speedway racing. seeing these guys just run like complete dumbasses. Of course, the big moment that happens here is with 20 to go, leads off into it. The 7 makes a move. Can't get the lead. Gets, he's starting to get shuffled. He goes up the track and causes a 6-car incident around this time, collecting the 98, 00, 39, 19, and 2. Red flag also came out around this point. At first, it looked like he really did cause the wreck. He just had made a dumb move. He swears up and down that contact, I believe it was with the 00 and not he said 18. I think he meant 19. He swears up and down that's what cut his tire down. I would want to see more. It did not look like that tire was down, though. But for now, the jury, I think jury's, what do you guys think? Do you think it was just dumb move or flat tire? Let me know in the chat. Just put like dumb or flat. I don't know. That'll be, I don't want to put a poll for it because I just want to see what you guys can do on that. But that brings out a red flag and changes the entirety of the race, man. I'm leaning towards dumb move. That tire did not look flat. Like at least on the replay. But he swears up and down. I don't think that Justin Allgaier's dumb either. So like, it's just in the middle. A dumb flat. I like that one, Noah. Just a dumb flat. The hell is this movie on USA right now? They're up in space. Parker should have won. It's dumb flat, both. Either way, this takes out pretty much all of the contending cars up there, except for the 21, the 81. Maybe I guess you could add the 26. He was at the tail of the top 10 for a lot of it at the end there, but at that point, I mean, everything fell in place right to get the 21 the win today. You restart it with 13 to go. 21 then clears the 81 quickly. 81 does a crossover. They battle a little bit. And then it's just Hill in control. Again, the 81 tried to bump draft him, bump and run him, whatever you will. It seemed like it was going to work, but again, when the 26 didn't go with him, that was pretty much the race. Austin Hill gets another super speedway victory, adds more playoff points, 2 races remaining of the regular season, 1 race remaining on NBC Sports next week on Watkins Glen weekend. That will be the last NBC Sports Xfinity broadcast till at least 2032, if not longer. If you didn't know, they're going to be on the CW the last 8 weeks. They put it on everything. And to be fair, they should. Like, we are actually people like us, the diehards that watch even the bad ones, that talk about them like that. We're the ones they should be marketing to, because Xfinity is definitely for more diehard fans. I think that it's going to be mostly just NBC Sports production from the sounds of it for this year. I'm really interested to see what CW looks like in 2025. But overall, yeah, I mean, just run-of-the-mill Xfinity race at Atlanta. Nothing special. This series has been nothing special at Atlanta since the reconfiguration. The big show tomorrow, that's the one that's going to be really interesting. Wondering if we're going to have some good quotes before the race from Denny Hamlin. I don't think he's too happy with the fact that he's one of only 2 car owners that's not on board with the charter deal. We'll talk about that Wednesday night on this channel. So should be a lot of fun on NWP. But let's finish this baby off, get into these super chats. Not too many of them. I appreciate the support from everybody in the chat, super chats, non-chats alike. It is all appreciated. Let's see if we can get to 100 likes on the stream. We're only 28 away. Remember, 1 like equals 1 good vibe towards getting Ryan Sieg a win at some point. Him or Creed, either way. Just good vibes, man. We need good vibes after that race. Marky Mark with the 2 says all that for an Austin Hill win for F's sake. Yeah, that was the big comment I saw a lot of people saying. I don't know what to say, man. Sometimes you just got to be lucky. Sometimes you have to have everything go right. Sometimes you have to be good. Sometimes you have to have a mix of all of it. Eric W., thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. I'm sure that those 5 appreciate it, and I appreciate it as well. We're all happy. Thank you. Bobby Blair for the 10 saying they have to fix this package. Cup is fantastic, but this configuration just does not work for the lower series, in my opinion. Congrats to Austin Hill. He is a super speedway god. I agree. But I think that you would have to change the car in a lot of ways fundamentally before you can get similar results to Cup. This reconfiguration was designed around the next gen car. It was clear as day by the results we've seen. It's clear as day by the results we haven't seen in the lower series. And the fact that they did, iRacing and them did test it that way. Oi, it's Huey from The Boys. Huh. Sorry, just that movie that's on afterwards. I see Huey's on it. And anyone who watches The Boys will get that reference. I don't have the meme on me, but I should pop up the Starlight face reaction. Twin Spinner for the 5 here says RC is going to have their drivers hold their kids 24/7 to avoid drivers' fights with them at this point. I don't think that the Hill one was that bad, but I could see it. There we go. I see it in the chat. Homelander killed my wife and took my bloody son. Starlight reaction. My fiance hates it because I show her those memes all the time, and she's just annoyed out of her mind about it. And we both watch that show, but she's so annoyed by it. Oi, bro. Freaking loved it. Butcher's awesome. Sly Supersonic for the 535. Hill made all his and RCR's haters eat shit. Also, he just humbled the SVG bandwagon fans. Good for him. I love seeing haters get shut down. That is surely not going to make people upset in any way. Oh, man. Reverend Rasheem Hall Stewart for the 250. Corey Heim and Raja should be in Xfinity in 2025. I think Corey Heim should. I think he'd be good enough too. Raja, I think, needs another year in trucks personally. I think he needs trucks and then like part-time Xfinity. Just get to the right spots Xfinity racing to learn a lot. No expectations either. But I think Raj has the talent to move up and do more of those races towards the end of 2025. What's up, Elite Precision 29? Good to see you, man. This race reminds me of old Daytona. I enjoyed it. Well, good. I think it's middle of the road personally. I think it needs to wear down a little bit more for me to like it like old Daytona. But I definitely could see that happening at one point. The Cup ones are just, the Cup races are just going to be amazing. No matter what it seems like. Now, we'll watch I say all of this, and the Cup race tomorrow is like the worst one since a reconfiguration. We have everybody like storming the gates to have the old one back. I personally like the old configuration. I think the new one, at least with Cup, has been the best case scenario, though. So, my God, how many boys actors are in this movie? There's another one. How about that? But yeah, overall, I enjoyed it for what it was. Not gonna remember it in like T-minus 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes, probably T-minus 10 days. But either way, it's always good to have cars on track. I'd rather take. I won't even say this is a bad race, but I'd rather take a bad race over no race. So. But thanks for coming on in. We'll be live tomorrow after the Cup race, whenever it ends. Looks like the weather's all good to go. So I will definitely see y'all then. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to go fishing with old John Ramos now. So I will catch y'all tomorrow. Later, y'all.